Yeah, thank you. I think something happened with the audio here on your side. Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, better.
great. I wanted to ask about the creative process for you. This isn't your um, first time working on music. I wanted to ask you, is there a certain formula that you use to your craft when you're composing?
Yeah, well, formula and formula. I'm not
Like,
much.
does the music come first, or does the lyrics come first?
They usually come at the same time. There's usually some kind of a there's a phrase and there's a melody at the same time. That's the usual. I'm just going to shut off my phone here. Sorry. So there. Yeah, the music and the lyrics come. You get sort of a defining piece for the entire track, but you get a chunk that is you can lay out later.
I wanted to ask you as well, when I listen to your music, it has a cinematic feel to it. It feels like
Yeah.
living in a movie
Yeah.
or in a
Okay.
place and time. I wanted to ask you, does it come to you visually as well?
Yeah. It usually does. And since we're talking about this Norrsinnt album, it's uh, yeah. Well, it has a lot to do with the with the woods, within the landscape around here. It is. I have a couple of different projects, but Norrsinnt is the one that is most. I don't have a that much of a filter when I compose, and I let things come out of the way they are, and sometimes it gets a bit peculiar, and there are some rough edges that I leave, and in other parts there are very it's more polished and intricate and yeah, cinematic. And yeah, well, it has to me it has a lot to do with it represents the feeling that I get when I'm out in the woods and out hiking.
I love the feel because it takes me back and I envision older times. I envision
Yeah.
myself, being from, I don't know the lyrics because I don't speak the language, but I feel like I'm in a pub and I'm enjoying myself and I'm around family and friends and it's good times when I hear
Okay.
music.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting to hear when you don't when you just hear the music and when you leave out the lyrics and everything and the impression that it gets. So thanks for that. That was interesting.
And my favorite track on the album, I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, is Skooksmat. I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
I wanted to ask you um what the song is about and how it came to you.
Mm, okay, that was an interesting track since it's also I included some friends, some other artists from they're both from Norway and Sweden. So we have Patrick from Fade, and you have the Myrkrav. His name is Lars. Oh, I cannot remember. He has a tune. Lars Einar Jensen. And then there's Nash Rotenberg from Byrdi, and then there's me. So I'm not sure the word, the title of the track, Skogsmakt. It means the power of the forest,
Hmm.
and yeah. Well, since it was the plan was to include the other people, I wanted to create something that they have their respect. They play their respective parts in this track, and they are different artists and they have their own kind of style. And I wanted to recreate their parts so that their respective parts resembles own their own artistry. So that was a very important part of the track as well. So and all of these artists are they have they have a theme that is pretty yeah it has they sing about all times and nature and things like that, so we have some kind of thing in common. And but I wanted to it's more like a musical, that track. It's a bit of a kind of a of a musical, mini musical, yeah. And it's about yeah, the woods and the old times and things like that, and the power of nature.
And we spoke of how you enjoy being in the woods and
Mm,
how your music is seen from it. Are
yeah.
you yourself personally isolate in an isolated area where you're surrounded by woods?
Yes, yes, that is it. I mean, I don't want to be try to promote myself as if some kind of yeah, well, you have this uh, true image that you have to be yeah, well, there's some kind of competition about the most the one who has who lives closest to the woods and all of that. There's some kind of sometimes you get the feeling that there's some kind of a competition in that. But I mean, we're speaking. I have electricity and an internet connection, so of course I'm not living outside of society or anything like that. It's not that, but I live, yes, with measures today. I live quite isolated. This is a small village where I live, where I think we're about maybe maximum 20 people here, and it's on a couple of square miles at least, and pretty close, just to be about a couple of 100 meters away from where I'm sitting right now. There's a big area of woods, of forest, which is, I would say, it's about maybe 50 square 15 kilometers wide and 40 kilometers long, where no one lives. But otherwise, just around here where I live, there's farmland as well. So farmlands and woods and some couple of hills.
I wanted to ask you as well about another song, and again, I hope my pronunciation is correct. But
Yeah, that's okay. Even if it isn't, who can blame you?
Beta Ray is another
Yeah,
one of my
you
favorite
gotta.
tracks on the album.
Mm? Ah, okay. Do you want me to say anything about it?
Yes, I wanted to ask you lyrically what that track is about.
Hmm. Well, I would say, I mean, when you write songs and you write lyrics, there it's difficult to say that there this song is about exactly that, and it's about exactly. I mean, if it would be, it would be better off writing some kind of a paper or something like that, a scientific paper, if you want to say exactly what it's about. So, but some themes about that song are about adventure, I think, and yeah, about uh, we call it the existential, about being a man, being a human, and the short lives we live here, and all of the forces at play that we're we're both interacting with them and that they are affecting us as well. I would say it's about adventure and just moving forward despite everything around you. It's like, yeah, something like that.
I wanted to ask you as well, um, how did your um, musical journey begin?
Oh,
Did you start at an early age?
yeah, I started in early age, so I would say I started to play guitar when I was 8 or 9, I think. And then I grew up in a pretty religious environment with and not the state church around there, but more, I don't know what, baptism. So there was a lot of singing in the church, and a lot of music there. So I'm not in that environment right now, but I think I got a good start with music when it came to this. And there wasn't much to do around there. I grew up just around the corner here, so there wasn't much to do there was no internet. There was no. I had my guitar. Yeah, but then I started playing a lot of other instruments as well.
I wanted to ask you as well, um, along your journey, what do you feel has been the best advice that has been given to you along the way?
When it comes to music, or when it comes to life in general,
To music.
I'm not sure I've gotten any advice like that. I don't. I can't remember I having been given some kind of advice like focus on that and focus on this, and things will. So I'm not sure I can say there is. I have been given any advice.
Now, and speaking on them lines, did you pretty much are you pretty much self-taught on your instruments?
Yeah, I'm quite self-taught. It varies. I mean, we had some kind of musical. There was a guy from in school. There was the actually you could choose an instrument to play, and then the state had there was a teacher who drove around all of these small villages here up in the north, and he came. If you wanted to play guitar, you get that guy. He came from the city and drove out here, and had. But I don't think I was very attentive on his classes, to be honest. But yes, that was. I had some schooling, yeah, and but otherwise I'm pretty much self-learned. I had some books and things like that.
And I wanted to ask you as well if you could speak on the album artwork and the artist that was involved.
Oh, yeah, the artist involved. There's this album, the layout and the logo and all of that is made by a man named Thomas Vanen, and perhaps you know a band named Tyrfing from Sweden. Yeah, he was the previous vocalist. I think he quit the band about 10 years, perhaps more ago. But he has helped me with the layout and the logo and all of that. And it was actually his suggestion. He found this artwork that it's made by a Swedish artist, but he has a German surname. I think it was Seal, ah, something with the Z. And he lived to be 42 years old, and from the southern Sweden, and he was in some. It was during the 19th century, 1812 to 1818 to 1860 or something like that. And he was out on hikes as well. He liked to be out on hikes, and I think the illustration is named something like the hunters camping in the forest or something like that. And yeah, well, he died on one of his hikes as well. He was out. Yeah, I don't know why, but he became ill and died when he was only 42 years old. He was a painter, and he had been in. He has a German surname, but he lived here in Sweden. I'm not sure about his family, but I think he was married to some kind of a German noble lady, and he was schooled in Germany as well. So that's about all I know about him. And it was my friend Thomas that actually picked asked me, what do you think about this one? And I say, yeah, well, that looks good.
I wanted to ask you if I could, What was the last album you have listened to?
Last album I listened to, yeah, that's an interesting uh, question. I listen to various music. It's a kind of an obscure band that is not well known outside of this country. It's called The Kristet Utseende, which means Christian look. and it's very difficult to explain what this band actually the theme. They don't exist anymore, but they have very strange lyrics. It is a mixture of, for some reasons, they focus a lot of a lot of the lyrics are about drugs and sex, and then they mix it up with this baptism Christianity, and it's, you cannot explain it. It's very strange. I listened to their last album, which is called Pervo Genesis. Pervo, like Pervo, yeah, Pervo Genesis. And it's a very strange album. I listened to it this morning, and yeah, I can recommend them, but it is difficult to understand. I mean, I would say think a lot of people here think they are pretty. It's both childish and serious at the same time, and it's in a very strange way. I'm a bit fascinated, at least by about their last album, the final album. It has a more it has more depth. It's a bit serious, but on the same time, he has been doing so much ridiculous stuff all along their career, so he has to keep that ridiculous this sex and drugs theme, and then you can hear that he has been thinking a bit more, but he doesn't want to make the audience disappointed, so he mixes these serious topics with it's a very strange mix. But I'm a bit fascinated by that album in particular, Pervogenesis.
As far as your career, what is the next step for you, my friend?
When it comes to Norrsintt, or well, music in general, or
Music in general. What
music
are
in
your plans?
general,
Sure.
my plans right now. Oof. I hope I have a band named Utmarken, which has always been sort of the main focus, which I hope I will be able to release the album with Micah soon. But also I have another solo project that has been recorded. It's already finished, mixed, and everything since a couple of years ago. It's called Golden Vulture, and it's actually in English. And it's a theme album about it's 70s music, and it is a story. It has a story, a full story about it. And I hope to release that one. Golden Vulture, Dark Shadows is the name of the album. I hope that will be the next thing to come out.
I wanted to ask you as well, what is the best way to get a physical copy of this album and any merchandise that you have?
This album is not out physically yet, but it will be out. That is the entire reason it was actually became an album. This little label named Earth and Sky Productions contacted me and asked me if I wanted to. Well, wouldn't you be able to make an album of this? And yeah, well, I said I have songs already out and I can bundle them up and we make a package of them. So I hope they will be releasing it in hopefully the beginning of next year. So in order to get a physical copy, I would say follow me on Facebook, Norrsintt, or follow Earth and Sky Productions on Facebook or Instagram or any social media. Then there will probably be some news update when the physical album comes out.
I wanted to ask you as well. Um, Musically, the passion for your style of music is
Mm,
something that I feel, I think we all have passions for a certain music, and it's something that calls to us. I wanted to
mm,
ask, at what age did this style really come to you?
mm. Yeah, it came about 10, 15 years ago. And it came with me living in the city, me and my wife, and we moved out here to this place for some strange reason. And like I said, I grew up here rurally, but I always wanted to get away from this place and then get a career and all of that and move to the city where everything happens. And so I did that, and well, I got a nice house in a nice neighborhood and all of that, but I just I didn't feel I wasn't it was too much noise going on. I didn't like it there. And for some reason she was the one who found this place, and we just went and looked at it, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden we moved out here. So uh, I found this. It actually became with the Lord of the Rings, that movie, the Rohan theme, and I saw it, and I liked the sound of that violin there. It, I thought it was an instrument that is named nyckelharpa, which I play a lot on these Norrsinnt tracks. I thought that was what they were playing in this Lord of the Rings theme, this Rohan theme, but it's actually another string instrument which is from Norway, which is called a Hardanger fiddle. It's a fiddle that has resonance strings, and that is common between the nyckelharpa and this Hardanger fiddle. You have these resonance strings, so even if you play these resonance strings, you don't play them, but they swing. They start to vibrate together with the tone, and you get this natural reverb. Yeah, so I thought it was a nyckelharpa I wanted, but it wasn't a Hardanger fiddle. But then my wife saw this instrument, and yeah, it's a guy close nearby. He's selling a nyckelharpa. Shouldn't you go check it out? And yeah, I went to check it out, and I bought it, and I I started playing it, and it was kind of interesting since playing guitar, I was a bit bored of the guitar. I knew what to play. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm not Yngwie Malmsteen. I have never had the ambition of just working scales like that. That I become bored. I'm more interested in writing the theme, the concept, and building these stories, these musical stories. And I felt I needed an authentic instrument. I didn't want to just have synthesizers on everything, since I don't think the string instruments in particular are difficult to get these authentic when you have these synthesizers. You can have these synth pads and with a lot of string sections and all that. That works pretty well to fill out. But for these new things, I needed an authentic instrument. So I found the nyckelharpa and I started playing it, and then I started recording some stuff just and I sent it to some people, and all of a sudden I had interest from quite people I would never thought would be interested in. I looked up to people I looked up to a lot, names in the music industry here, and all of a sudden they were contacting me, and there was talk about signing record deals and all of that. Yeah, I was just I wanted to capture this environment change for me from going from the city, and what I saw when I came back here. out. Yeah, like I said, I grew up here, but I never understood what I had right around the corner. And when I got older, I suddenly, yeah, I just noticed I like to be out in just walk around in the woods and discover things. And I discovered music out there. This music, it came out there. So I just wanted to send it further along, and I needed this authentic instrument. And when you start playing instruments like these, they in every instrument they had, if there's some kind of it forces you into certain directions. You cannot play everything well on a flute, for example. I mean, it's suited for particular
Mhm.
things, and there were a lot of things in this nyckelharpa, this keyed fiddle, that were, yeah, which forcing me in this kind of direction. And then I've always been a fan of hard rock and heavy metal and a lot of other things. But for some reason, I feel to me, the new folk music is heavy metal and hard rock. It's the it was the right vessel. It is, if you want to make new folk music, you need to involve some hard rock and heavy metal as well. And I wanted to make some kind of new folk music.
I agree. I think it's a perfect marriage. I think it
Yeah,
works very together.
yeah, and I wanted to start in the other direction. I think I don't want to be sound self-righteous here or pompous or anything, but I think you can hear in a lot of uh, heavy metal folk mixes, you can hear that they have started in the other direction. They have written the song on a guitar, and then they want to put this folk on top of it afterwards. But I start in the other direction. I just sat with this fiddle and played, and yeah, like I said, it forces you to go into certain directions, certain melodies, certain techniques just become more natural, and it you just start playing. And it's not so difficult to understand why the folk music sounds like it sounds, since it's sort of in the instruments themselves. So I started there, and then I put the rock metal on afterwards. So I think it was with this, yeah, combination of these, moving out here, finding this instrument, and seeing things differently as you get older.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lastly, I wanted to ask you, my friend, if you could give a message to your fans, what would that message be?
I want to. What would that be? That would be probably some kind of pretentious lines like take care of yourselves, do what you feel you have to do, and it's okay to do something wrong and bad and mess things up along the way, as long as we. Oh, I don't know. This just becomes pretentious. Do what you feel like, and take care of yourself, and have fun. Try to enjoy life, and yeah, that this is very difficult. It's just what should I tell anyone?
Um, to check out this album because it is great from top to bottom. I
I'm
thoroughly enjoyed the album, and you made a fan of the style to me.
how did you find it?
I have a friend in Germany that
Okay,
invited me to listen to you,
all
and
right, okay, so it came from Germany. Yeah,
yes,
I wonder how he found it.
that I do not know.
Yeah, who
But
knows? It's
but
strange
I
ways.
get with my followers, I get a lot of suggestions. Hey, check out this album, this band,
Mm.
and
Wow.
I'm always happy to do it. You know, I
Yeah,
love exploring all genres of metal.
yeah. And it's a good thing that you have started a channel and talk. That's all. It is important with the other side as well. And I mean, you have without people listening on the other side, there wouldn't be. Yeah, well, it would be some kind of point for me doing this, but then both sides are important, and it's very interesting. I always think that music is about communication. I mean, the final result that everything that leaves the studio is just a representation of an energy pattern, actually. That is all that it leaves the studio. So it's like with sound, that is only an energy pattern. And these things go to the other side to some kind of someone who receives it and recreates that energy pattern, and you hear something back. So it's and that is very important. It's a two-way.
Hmm.
I think it's a two-way process. At least I'm very interested in getting just finding out who listens to it, why, and how. How did it reach them in the first place? And it's kind of strange thing altogether.
Well, I wanted to thank you again, my friend, for taking time to speak with me. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
And thank you as well. Thank you for the attention. And I wish you the best of luck with your future undertakings. Is that what you say? Future endeavors.
Yes.
Your future endeavors. Yeah. I don't think I ever did an interview in English before, actually.
Well,
So,
I tell you, your English is far better than my translations of your song titles.
yeah, but I don't think you can be blamed for that. We cannot know all the languages in the entire world, right?
Sure.
That would be quite high expectations.
Thank you again, my friend, and you have a great
Thank
rest of
you.
the day. And
Yeah,
please feel free to contact me at any time with any new news, my friend.
yeah. We'll stay in touch then.
All right, take care.
Take care. Have a good day.
Cheers.
Bye bye.